About a year ago, I had a rapid spiritual awakening. I was completely unconscious for about 37 years of my life, 36 years of my life. And what happened was and this might sound a little hokey to people, but I was sick with a chronic illness called ulcerative colitis. Was diagnosed when I was 18, took a drug called Accutane. There were multi-million dollar lawsuits that were settled in the US, but unfortunately, because of Canada and a lot of reasons, my case never went through. The payday would have been nice for the suffering. But I was about 2 months away from getting 13 inches of my colon removed, where I would have a permanent colostomy bag for the rest of my life. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was trying to run a business and expand as a human being. And I had a doctor say to me, "This is the only option. There's no other options." As a background, both my parents, when I grew up, were doctors, so I was in that conventional medical establishment. And I heard this sort of voice that now I think is sort of a higher self or something that came over me and just kind of said, "No, this isn't in the plan." And sort of, I turned to the doctor and said, "It's not really in my plan." And he's just kind of, looking at me like, "Okay, I've heard this a million times." And I went home and I started looking up on the internet and I started researching places in the world where they didn't have the diseases we had. So it was sort of places like New Guinea, where they didn't have new teenage acne, they didn't have cardiovascular disease. And I sort of thought, why would my body be attacking itself? That doesn't really make any sense. And so I looked up a guy named Paul Saladino and kind of jumped around different people and started doing my own research, which I know has like become a loaded phrase these days. God forbid. And so I eliminated all the chemicals from my entire house. I filtered my drinking water, I filtered my shower water. I made sure that none of the chemicals in my house were everything from deodorant, beauty products. I did not know how deep the rabbit hole went. I did not know that there were products that were sold in our stores that were banned in Europe. And so I also took my diet. I went organic, but just really got the seed oils and a lot of the crap out of my life. I was already eating pretty well. It wasn't like I was an unhealthy person. And within 60 days, the disease that had plagued me for 18 years of my life was gone.